Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Desktop Ball. It's the only show where I sit at my desktop and talk ball. Today is December 6th. It's a Friday, and we just had an awesome game between the Lions and Packers. 34-31 Lions, a 3.5 point favorite. So the Packers get the cover, Lions get the win. So everybody wins unless you're a Lions better. Uh, I had the Packers in this game. I had a feeling they could keep it close. I actually remember specifically saying I think they're going to lose this game by 3. I would have guessed, 24-21, something like that, but we got 34-31. Offensive masterclass from both teams, really. Jordan Love was hitting deep shot after deep shot to Christian Watson. Josh Jacobs punching in for touchdowns. The Lions just being the best offense in football and just marching down the field over and over again. Um, and they get a win. I think the big story from this game is Dan Campbell on 4th and 1 with 40 seconds left goes for it instead of kicking the field goal, gets it and seals the game. If he hadn't gotten it, the Packers probably go 20 yards, kick a field goal, and win the game. Um, I mean, really, just crazy stuff. I get that he's aggressive. I like aggressive decision making. Um, that felt that felt like too much to me. You're not going to lose the game by kicking the field goal there unless you somehow miss the field goal. I don't know. I mean, I think that's what he does. It's Dan Campbell. That's what he does. He's going to go for it. He's going to be aggressive. You're going to live by it. You're going to die by it. If you were to get eliminated from the playoffs on a situation like that, it would feel pretty bad. Um, but again, like live by the sword, die by the sword. You have to. I mean, this is who you are. You go for it on every fourth down, and you fear no consequences. And you know what? When you have an offensive line this good, which this offensive line is really good, um, you can get away with it a lot. Uh, the Lions, they've always got some fun, creative plays. They're fun to watch run the ball, fun to watch throw screen passes. Um, Jared Goff had a bad interception in this game where it's like, yeah, that's why he's Jared Goff and not Matt Stafford. He's a very, very good quarterback. He's just not in that elite tier. Makes the mistakes every now and then. Not a transcendent quarterback like other quarterbacks, but 12-1 Detroit Lions. They beat their rivals, the Packers, 34-31. This was sort of a swing game in the NFC North. If the Packers had won it, the NFC North would become immediately very jumbled with these three top teams. I think with this win, the Lions have effectively separated themselves. I know the Vikings could still catch them. I just don't trust the Vikings. I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, that's all I've got on this one. Josh Jacobs, 3 touchdowns. If you're a Josh Jacobs owner, which I am, uh, I'm sure you're hyped about that. So let's do some picks. Again, I can't lose on Thursday nights. All I do is win on Thursday nights, and I lose the rest of the week. So take all of these picks with a grain of salt. For some reason, I just can't quite get it right on Sundays. But if I might be like 10 for 14 on Thursday night football. I've been very good on Thursday night. Anyhow, let's make some picks. We've got the Titans hosting the Jaguars. They're a 3.5 point favorite. Trevor Lawrence on IR. So we're gonna get some Mac Jones, Jacksonville Jaguars action. 3.5 points does feel like a lot for a team as bad as Tennessee, but the Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence in those games just looked completely inept. And I can't bring myself to bet on them. It's also in Tennessee, whatever that's worth. So give me the Titans in that one. We got the Dolphins hosting the Jets. The Miami Dolphins are a 6.5 point favorite at home. Back in sunny Miami where they can score a billion points. Hard not to like the Dolphins in this game, really. Um, they're in. I mean, they have to win out to make the playoffs. They probably won't, but they're definitely all the way in spoiler mode. There's plenty of teams that they play who they can spoil their season. I like the Dolphins. I think they're very good, truly. And the Jets just I can't trust them. I can't trust the Jets anymore. I can't pick the Jets anymore. They've betrayed me too many times. Um, and it's such a frustrating experience watching the Jets trying to get them to score points, rooting for them to be successful when they just cannot do it. Minnesota is hosting Atlanta. They're a 5.5 point favorite. Kirk Cousins returns to Minnesota. I like Atlanta, guys. I like Atlanta in this one, and I know Minnesota is probably going to win the game, but I feel like 5.5 is a lot. I feel like 5.5 is a lot. I could absolutely see the Vikings win this game by 3, 4, maybe even 5 points, but I think it's unlikely that they blow out the Falcons. Um, would like to see the Falcons play better. They really have not been playing that good as of late, but it would be nice to see them play better. I pick the Giants every week. This week we host the New Orleans Saints, and we're a 5 point underdog. Picking the Giants every week has not been good for me. It's been actually quite bad for me. But I really do think that 5 points is too many for this Saints team. They're really not that good. And the reason I think that, because I think that I'm going to pick the Saints because we're really bad. We're really bad, and I don't think we belong. I don't think we belong under a touchdown spread to anybody really. I mean, it feels like a lot of points for the Saints as a favorite, but it doesn't feel like enough points for the Giants as an underdog, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just can't bring myself to continue betting on the Giants. Again, they've just been so bad to me. I can't let myself do it. um, okay, we've got Philadelphia hosting Carolina. They're a 12.5 point favorite. That is monster favorite. Carolina's been playing pretty well lately. Bryce Young's been playing pretty well, but I like the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I think they're the best team in football right now. I think they're playing so well. Um, can I bring myself to lay 12.5 points? I think I can. I think this Philly defense has been playing really well. And, while Bryce Young has been playing well, I trust the Philly defense more. Um, I think they'll shut down this Panthers offense and get the job done. 12.5. Maybe they win it by 2 touchdowns. I can see it. Give me the Eagles in that one. All right, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns. Last time these two teams played, it was the at Cleveland game, the obvious letdown spot, where Mike Tomlin was just coming off of a massive win. This time he's at home against the Browns, 6.5 points. It does feel like a lot for a Steelers team, but consider that the Browns are not very good, and then I think it all starts to make sense. I like the Steelers. I'm just literally running down the list of favorites, picking every single favorite. But I like the Steelers. I think they're better than 6.5 points, better than the Browns. I don't know. That's just my opinion. We'll see. Tampa Bay hosts the Raiders. They're a 6.5 point favorite. Um, Again, it's like these touchdown spread games, like these like I, the Bucks probably are 6.5 points better than the Raiders, but the Raiders have done a good job of making games ugly as of late, keeping games close. Um, while I think the Bucks get the win, I like the Raiders to cover. Oh man, I hate that I just did that, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I also like Seattle as an underdog against Arizona. This one's at Arizona. They're a 2.5 point dog. I think Seattle's just the better team outright. I've been low on the Cardinals all year, and I continuously get bit picking against them. But I'm not going to stop now. I'm going to keep riding with it. I really don't think they're that good. It's the Seahawks on the road, which is slightly scary, but I do think they're better than the Cardinals. Give me Seattle in that game. Buffalo at the Rams is only a 4.5 point favorite. This takes me back to the first game after the Rams won the Super Bowl. The Bills were a 3.5 point favorite at the Los Angeles Rams to open up the season. It was like one of the most anticipated games ever, and the Bills just smashed them. I wonder if anybody else remembers that game. I like the Bills giving 4.5. I think the Bills right there with the Eagles in terms of who's playing the best football right now. They have been so convincing. 4.5 points, I don't think is enough. I'm honestly surprised it's this low. I wonder if there's some injury or something that I'm missing, but I think that the Bills are vastly better than the Rams, just on defense, especially the Rams defense. I just don't trust it. I do love the Rams offense. I think they'll probably score plenty of points. I just think the Bills are going to score 4.5 or more. I like the Bears as an underdog against San Francisco. San Francisco is getting by on logo alone, and that's the only reason that they're a 4-point favorite in this game. They are not playing well, and the Bears are. I think they're going to get the fire Matt Eberflus bump. I would not be surprised if they went to San Francisco and won the game outright. And I think 4 points is a lot. Give me the Bears in that game, which may come back to bite me, but I just these Niners are not the Niners that you think they are. You have to shed what you think of the Niners. That's not who they are anymore. Kansas City hosts the Chargers. They're a 4-point favorite. I'm actually very interested. What was the score the first time these two teams played? I'm gonna have to pop it out. Okay. 17-10, the Chiefs won. I remember that. The Chargers jumped out 10-0 on them. And then the Chiefs came back, won 17-10, and it was like, all right, that's it. Oh, I like the Chargers as an underdog. I do. I think 4 points. I can totally see them losing it by 3. But I like the Chargers. I think they're going to play tough, play physical, keep this game close. Probably lose by a couple points. Hopefully not 4 or more. Lastly, we've got the Bengals at Dallas, 5.5-point favorites, and I like the Bengals. This Dallas defense has not been able to stop anybody, and the Bengals can score a billion points. I trust that the Dallas offense will be bad enough that even this pathetic, sorry Bengals defense can stop them. So yeah, those are my picks. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about a lot of them. But every week I go in and I'm super confident. So maybe it's better to be up in the air because I have not been particularly good on Sundays. I'm 94 and 100 on the season, which is pretty bad. I mean, it's not like guy who hosts a football podcast level good. You would hope that would be better. It's improved a lot over the course of the year. I was down in like the high 30s%, and we're getting into the high 40s now. Maybe we can break 50% by the end of the year. I would love that. All right, Friday night we've got the Mountain West Championship. The winner goes to the playoff. Because if you look, Tulane and Army, they're both ranked below these two teams. So these two teams, the winner of it's going to go. I like Boise State. I think they're better. I'm pretty sure these teams have already played, and Boise State beat them. I'm correct in that. They won 29-24 in Las Vegas. This one is in Boise, Idaho. It's going to be cold. I like Ashton Genty in the cold over a summer weather UNLV team. Give me Boise State in that game. I think they are better. All right. We've got the Big 12 championship, SEC, Big 10, ACC, all the Power 4 championships, all on Saturday. Okay. I think Arizona State's playing better right now. I think Iowa State was better earlier in the year. I think Arizona State's just the hot team right now. I like a team that's gotten hot over a team that's maybe historically better. I like Arizona State in this game. I can't say that I've watched a ton of Iowa State or Arizona State football. I can't tell you too much on the analytics side. What I do know is this guy Scadaboo on Arizona State is an absolute dog. And if he can go and run the ball all over Iowa State, Arizona State's probably going to find a way to win the game. And they're red hot. They're red hot. They're playing actually like really well. I just messed this up somehow. But yeah, I like Arizona State in the game. And they're only a 1.5-point favorite, so effectively I like them to cover as well. I mean, why not? It's only 1.5 points. All right. And that leaves the 3 that are well, all right, we'll leave the 2 big ones for last. Clemson at SMU, or not at SMU. Clemson SMU, it's in North Carolina. Really, it's more of a Clemson home game than it is an SMU home game. SMU is only a 2.5-point favorite in this game, and I like the experience and the talent of Clemson in this game. I know SMU's played well. They've played nobody. They've played absolutely nobody. Yes, they beat Louisville, and they beat Pitt at the time those teams were ranked. Those teams are no longer ranked. They were never good. SMU they're beating bad teams and they're doing it pretty convincingly. So respect there. But I think Clemson is more talented. I think Dabo's probably the better coach. I think they have the experience in these types of moments, and therefore I like the Tigers to win the ACC championship. I don't like putting my faith in the Tigers at all because they are not very good. I just don't think SMU is all that great either. All right. Lastly, we got the two big ones. Start with the SEC, Georgia, Texas. It's a rematch. The first time these two teams played, Georgia's defensive line wrecked the game. Came in and absolutely wrecked the game. It was in Austin. Georgia won 30-15 after jumping out 23-0 in the first half. They did not have 300 yards of offense. They had short fields and mistakes by the Texas quarterbacks, and just absolutely dominated the Texas offensive line. They didn't need to have 300 yards of offense to win that game, so they did it. The Texas defense is the best in the country, and they've been playing incredibly well as of late. You may remember last week when Texas's defense did not allow any offensive points to Texas A&M, had 2 4th-and-1 goal line stands. This is the best defense in college football. I think that the Texas defense will continue to play well, and I don't think that the Georgia offense is good enough to beat them unless the Texas offense beats the Texas defense for Georgia, if that makes sense. I think that Texas is better. I think it's a better roster. There's a few concerns. One, Kelvin Banks is banged up. Kelvin Banks is the star left tackle for Texas. He's going to go top 10 in the draft. He'll probably be the second tackle taken off the board behind Will Campbell at LSU. And he's banged up. He's been walking around in a boot. I believe he's going to try to play, but sitting here and saying he would be at 100%, that's simply not true. Georgia just came off of that close overtime game with Georgia Tech. They had a good scare. I do believe they will get up for this game. I don't think this is going to be like some kind of letdown spot or, some post emotional win type of, letdown spot that often happens. I don't see that for Georgia. I think they'll get off the mat, and I think that this is a game they'll get up for. I just think Texas is better. I think, I think as long as the Texas offense plays clean, Quinn Ewers turns the ball over less than Carson Beck. I think Texas will win this game. I think Texas is better. I think the line indicates that they're a 2.5-point favorite. I think Texas has the advantage everywhere, and all that Texas needs to do is not let the Georgia defensive line wreck the game. That's the only place that Georgia had an advantage in the first game. So we'll see. Perhaps Georgia can continue to wreck Texas, but it was just one half, really. They lost 23-0 in the first half, won the second half 15-7 if that's worth anything, but need the offense to play better, need to come out with a chip on our shoulder and ready to beat this Georgia team. I think we'll do it. I like Texas in the game. Next, we've got Penn State, Oregon. Are you a little surprised that this line is only Oregon minus 3.5? I'm a little surprised that this line is only 3.5. I think Oregon is vastly better than Penn State. And the line being 3.5, I think is very confusing. But I don't know. Perhaps that's what it is. Maybe Penn State's going to be able to hang in this game. I like Oregon. I think Oregon's better. Everything that Ohio State did to beat Penn State, I think Oregon can do better. And for that reason alone, I think I like Oregon in this game. I think they're a matchup problem for Penn State. I think they're just better anyway than Penn State. So give me Oregon. And then that would leave us a college football playoff bracket. I wonder. Let's see if we can pull up CFP bracket if it has. Do we have a picture or anything? Here we go. Okay, so if these results that I gave were to happen, let's talk about how it would move. So Oregon would be 1, Texas would be 2. SMU will have lost, and to my estimation, they will be out. That will make Boise State the 3, Arizona State the 4, Clemson the 12. All right. So those would be those locks. Um, Next, I think we'd have to go to a 5 seed. So here's the question. Does Penn State losing to Oregon drop them from the 5 and let Notre Dame move up to the 5? Um, perhaps. Perhaps. I would bet that it probably would. So give me Notre Dame at the 5, Penn State at the 6. I bet you they would move Ohio State over Georgia to the 7, and then maybe it'd be Georgia, Tennessee in that 8-9, leave Indiana at 10, and then Alabama 11. Here's the issue with that though is it would be a lot of rematches. A lot of rematches of games that have already happened, and maybe the committee is also, looking to do a good job by the TV and make sure that it's games we haven't seen yet, fun matchups that we don't typically get. It would be cool if this 8-9 stayed the same and it was Tennessee going to the shoe. I actually think it'd be even cooler if it was Ohio State going to Rocky Top, but it is what it is. And then Georgia, Indiana, like that's a fitting matchup. These matchups I think are all reasonable because they're all like different conferences. So I think that could be fun. And then like an Alabama going to Notre Dame game, that would just be so cool, right? Um, I just think that I just wonder whether they're going to leave a number 5 Penn State team at number 5 if they lose to Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good question because should you punish teams for losing their conference championship? Probably not. Especially when a team like Notre Dame doesn't have to play in a conference championship. But the benefit to playing in a conference championship is obviously you get a bye in the playoffs, and having a bye in the playoffs, that's a really big deal. Oregon needs to win 1, 2, 3 games to be a national champion here. Penn State has to win 4. And that's a massive deal. Winning 4 games is tough. Playing 4 games is tough against the level of opponent that you're going to have to play. Let's talk about paths. So just looking at our graphic here, consider the value in being the 5 or 6 compared to being the 7 or 8. The 5 seed plays a home game against somebody awful and then plays the worst conference champion, probably Boise or Arizona State, or the Big 12 or ACC champion or maybe Boise. And then they'll play the 1 seed. That's the 5. Okay, how about the 6? The 6 will play a home game against the worst bubble team, Alabama. And then they'll play a pretty bad conference champion, maybe Boise, SMU, whatever. And then they'll maybe get the 2 seed up here and then the championship game. Compare that to, like the 8 seed. First, you have to host Tennessee. Okay. Then I have to go play Oregon on a neutral site. And then it's the 5 seed who is, the better team in your conference or whatever. I mean, the 8 seed, the 7 seed, that road is just so much tougher. I mean, literally just the difference in the 7 and the 6. It's win a home game and then play SMU or win a home game and then play Texas. Consider the vastness and difference of difficulty of those games. I'm sure that teams will be dying for that 6 seed. I don't like the auto bye structure. I hope they get rid of it. And I think that a team like Notre Dame, this structure just really benefits a team like Notre Dame. All you have to do is go 11-1, and you're gonna be the 5 or the 6 and play somebody who's maybe not all that great in your second round game. First, you host a bubble team, then you play somebody who's not that great in the second round. It's pretty egregious. So I would change it to make no auto buys. Auto bids, fine, but no auto buys. I think your rank is your rank, and it's on you to go win games and prove it. So that's just my opinion. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been a lovely episode of Desktop Ball. It's going to be a great weekend, especially in the college football world. I'm hyped for it. Hook 'em horns. Beat the piss out of the Georgia Bulldogs, please, one time. And let's do it. Let's get hot. I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope all your teams win unless it's Georgia or the Cowboys. And I will see you all on Tuesday for a recap and probably a playoff bracket. I actually don't know when the playoff bracket comes out, but I'll see you when I see you. Please follow, interact with the show however you like. Like it, favorite, subscribe, comment, and that's all. See you all whenever I see y'all.